So they announced the new companion is going to be Millie Gibson is going
Yes,
to be Ncuti Gatwa's. They actually use the terminology companion too,
they do. I thought
which
that was interesting that they referred to it as a companion. That definitely seemed like something that Chibnall tried to stray away from.
yeah, they've kind of flip-flopped on that, I think. They realized I think they thought the term companion could maybe come across as problematic.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, let's call them friends, let's call them family, fam, whatever you want to call it, but let's not
Yep.
use the term companion. But I think they realized that in the vernacular of the fandom, we're going to call it companion no matter what you call
Yeah.
it.
I think that like to me this is just another instance of um you referred to it as like a reboot, right? Like they're taking it back to this formula that they know worked really well with a little bit with the ninth, but definitely with the 10th. And even into the 11th, they had this certain formula that worked really well. It feels like there's so many bits and pieces of things that are happening, of news that are coming out, of castings that they're doing, that it's like, like, okay, that's where that fits into the formula. Oh, that's where this fits. Even something as simple as returning to using the phrase companion, it's like,
Hmm.
okay, you are latching back onto what you know worked really really well with the 10th.
Yeah, right. Um, let's see. So they gave us a press release here, and it's kind of long. I don't know if it's worth reading the whole thing, but I'll start it. Millie Gibson has landed the role of Ruby Sunday, the Doctor's new companion. Starring alongside Ncuti Gatwa, Millie will make her debut over the festive season in 2023 when the 15th Doctor takes control of the TARDIS. So, 15th Doctor taking control of the TARDIS in 2023, which implies the Christmas special will probably be, I guess, his first episode. You
I
agree
would
with
say
that?
first full episode. I think we're probably going to see him do his whole
Uh,
transition, make his statement at the end of whatever those three specials end up being called.
Best known for her role as Coronation Street's Kelly Nealon, 18-year-old Millie was the recipient of the Best Young Performer Award at the British Soap Awards earlier this year. Millie has also appeared in dramas Butterfly and Love, Lies, and Records. Speaking of her new role, Millie Gibson says, while still being in total disbelief, I am beyond honored to be cast as a doctor's companion. It is a gift of a role and a dream come true. I will do everything to try and fill the boots the fellow companions have traveled in before me. And what better way to do that than being by the fabulous Ncuti Gatwa's side? I just can't wait to get started. All right, so Coronation Street's Kelly Nealon. Uh,
Gotta love it.
did you know? Have you
No.
watched it?
Oh yeah,
No.
weekly,
Okay.
maybe annually. I don't know. How
I
often does it
assumed
show?
I assumed you're in the same boat as me. Happens to us a lot. Sorry for you British Doctor Who fans out there that are more aware of the other television, but nope, never. I've heard of Coronation Street. I did not know what
Yes.
it was.
No.
I did not ever watch it. Don't know any actors from it. Didn't recognize her. I've never seen her in anything, so she's completely new to me.
Yeah.
And I did like I did when Ncuti Gat was announced. I went, okay, he's got a Netflix show. I can go watch some of the episodes, get a sense for him as an actor. I wanted to do the same thing for her. Found clips on YouTube, or pretty much like YouTube. Like if you have the patience and piece it all together, you can watch full episodes. They do it in these clips. But
Nice.
um, Coronation Street, I guess, is a show. I don't know, I'm trying to think of how I would describe it, or to someone who's never seen it, and compare it to maybe something in American TV. And really, there's nothing like it in
It's
American
not a
TV.
soap.
So when they say soap, it's not the same as like our soap
Okay.
operas in the US, like that are just like it's like almost like they film them with a completely different camera and different
Yeah, yeah,
lighting,
yeah.
where it just stands out as like, oh, this is on a stage, it's cheesy, horrible
Yeah.
acting. This was more like definitely some kind of soap opera esque storylines, but the production value was higher than our soaps.
Okay.
The acting was better. It almost felt more like a drama.
Okay.
And it had it like this show in particular kind of had a Law and Order kind of element to it, because a lot of it's happening in like during trials.
Okay.
So I don't know. I don't know enough about the show if that's how it always is, but I got the sense that maybe some of the main characters in the show are like the lawyers.
I'm
Um,
just laughing because you're like, yeah, you can watch a full episode by piecing together episodes on YouTube. You've like watched probably like 10 different episodes and you smushed
well,
them
no, I
together.
was looking for specific clips that her character was
Yeah.
in, and it was funny because her character is kind of like I think she's just in one storyline. I don't know. I could be
Okay.
way off here, and people that are big fans of that show are probably like, ah. But there was this really important storyline where like there's a murder that happens, and she's like kind of on the wrong side of it. Like she's one of the bad kids that like caused this girl to get murdered. Um, and so she's on trial. And she's like a witness, but I think maybe they thought her boyfriend did it, but then like it got to maybe she did it. Yeah, now it's starting to sound more like a soap opera, right? Um,
Uh, I just want you to explain shows that we've never watched before to me. Like, just we'll do this every other week. You just
that's
need
gonna
to
be
explain episodes to
that's
me.
gonna be our spin-off podcast. Aaron explaining British shows that you've never seen.
I'm sorry,
Poorly,
I've lost
poorly
it.
explained. So yes, what I got out of it was I got to see her acting. Um, and I got to see her kind of play a certain type of character, kind of a mean girl almost esque character.
I'm sorry.
You're loving this.
I'm losing it. I just keep on. Okay, let me compose myself.
Yeah. I'll make sure that these clips end up on YouTube so people can see how hard you are laughing. So take my takeaway.
You're explaining a lot and nothing all at the same time. I'm loving it. Okay,
My
mean girl esque character. Your
my takeaway
takeaway.
from it is she plays a mean girl very well. I'll be curious to see because I think the character they're going to go with for her as a companion is probably not going to be the same type of character.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think she's going to be more of the sweet kind of girl next door. I don't know why I'm thinking that, but it just feels like that was what they would do versus a kind of a mean girl type personality. So yeah, I mean, her acting was fine. Like like I said, I've never seen her or anything, so this is the only impression I have of her. But I could totally see her in that role and being a companion.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that you tried to do the research. Honestly, that didn't even cross my mind to try to look up clips. I was like, oh yeah, I don't know where to find that show. I'm not
I
I
literally
can't.
just like went into YouTube and typed in Coronation Street, and I think I put the actress's name, and then
There you go.
like tons of clips.
I guess I'll need to do that. My impression though was like, okay, this fits the build, right? Like it's a very she strikes you as a very Rose-esque character. I don't want to put her in a box. I'm not saying that even in a bad way. But it definitely feels like you have the young doctor, you have the young companion. You have that dynamic back in play. It's going to be interesting to see if they take my preconceived notions and totally usurp those right out of the gate. I think that would be a huge surprise, but I think it would probably be a pleasant surprise to be like, okay, you fooled me with kind of the set pictures of them leaning against the TARDIS and
Mhm.
like smiles and the way that they always present them is almost always in that way. If something comes out and she does play that mean girl, if she comes out and there's that dynamic of her razzing on the doctor constantly, it would be an interesting dynamic. But I think you're right. I think it's probably going to be played very, very similar to how we've seen the um, Billy Piper Rose dynamic
I
play
think a
out.
strong personality is definitely going to be part of anytime you bring in a character into Doctor Who. I don't know that we've ever gotten a companion that didn't have
Oh
right
yeah,
a
no,
strong person. Maybe like kind of the companions sometimes fill that role,
right,
like the
yeah,
Rorys and those type of characters where they're kind of maybe a little bit more timid or kind of don't are a little scared and they tend to have a lot more character growth. But a lot of these kind of one singular companions that have been traveling with the Doctor over the years are always very strong personality. So I
yeah.
I imagine she's going to have a strong personality how that personality comes across. Is she going to be sarcastic? Is she going to be funny?
Right.
Is she going to be adventurous? Who knows what it's going to be? But Mean Girl is not on the list of things I'm expecting for
Yeah.
sure. Like the character that she played in Coronation Street, I don't see that being. And maybe I didn't watch enough of Coronation Street. Maybe she has a complete like
You saw the evil twin.
yeah, you're right. Yeah, there you go. But maybe she gets a little bit of justification. I don't know what
Yeah.
the word I'm looking for here, but yeah, she
I'm
gets.
I'm I'm curious to know if we're going to see that other aspect of the formula play out, right? Like we have the young doctor, we have the young companion. Do we get that meek and timid um part-time companion? Like do we get the Mickey to the Rose? Do we get the Rory to the Amy? Like do we have that dynamic play out? Um
Or do
with
we get, yeah, like, do we get that? And I was kind of wondering the same thing. Or do we get another, because we've had some companions that were not that, right?
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah.
Bill wasn't,
No,
they
no.
did eventually bring in like a Nardole, but like Bill wasn't associated to Nardole.
And Clara
Clara didn't
was
really,
very much her own
right,
character. She
until
did have Danny Pink.
they brought in Danny Pink, but that was kind of later on,
Yeah.
and he almost didn't fill that same. I mean, in a few episodes he did fill kind of the Rory role, but it definitely wasn't as much as Rory. Um, so yeah, like you said, is there a family member? Is there
Yeah.
because there always seems to be some connection to either family member, a friend, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, whatever that comes along or eventually becomes part of the cast, or will they just kind of really stick to the doctor companion dynamic and not bring in those
Yeah.
extra characters?
Yeah.
So we shall see. Russell T Davies did have a quote here. He says, "It's the great honor of my job to find the next generation of talent, and Millie shines like a star already. She's brilliant, dynamic, clever, and a wonderful actor. As a Coronation Street fan, I've seen Millie survive chases, guns, and sieges, but that's nothing compared to what lies ahead for Ruby Sunday." So I didn't see the guns and sieges in Coronation Street. So the and Ruby Sunday, the name,
Yeah,
that's a Doctor Who name.
it
Like
is.
yeah, it's a good one. I like it.
Yeah. 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 Agreed.